Hey, sports fans, boys and girls. Yeah, I want to try to make this happy Juneteenth. Yeah, my friend just called me from Georgia. He's a truck driver. Guy works on his own shit. He got a 93. He got Jeff Gordon's old 93, pushing 2 million miles, I'm 20 years older than him, but out of Cleveland, we kick it. It's hard to find somebody to talk to that get along with. He smokes like a champ, and shit ain't, man. I woke up this morning, man. I said, man, I got to cut back on the cigarettes or something. But you get the triggers, and it's a vice, and they smoked in Pell Mells unfiltered. They would tighten you up, They got to mellow me down. I was in Long Beach, California, driving a truck, and it's friggin' traffic, man, insane. You light one up, look at stress levels like this, it calm you down a little bit. And then after that, it's like, you know, drove a cab in New York. I was smoking four packs a day, talking to people, bullshitting, drinking. It's not good. But anyhow, uh, let's see what goes with this Trump agreement with Iran. It's don't trust them, but you gotta start somewhere. And I think the idea, what I hear coming out of Trump's mouth is, what you're tired. Like he's a couple of years older than me, but you're tired of these people, virtual animals. So many of them. I was reading the Bible today that in Persia, which is now Iran, they were fighting the good ones were priests and the temple of God, order, harvesting, a nice lifestyle, and then you got people from other countries and whatnot or locations that come in to take over. If they see you got something, they come in and try to take it over, which is human nature, I guess. I come in from L.A., Oregon. I had a little money. Moved back to my dad's old house, which had basically been neglected in El Paso. Or supposedly there was a lady, my next door neighbor came knocking at the door. He's a CPA. Where's what's her name? I go, hey, no. I says, I'm Victor Gutierrez. This is my dad's house. He's looking for a massage or something. Now, when I got here, I was with my disabled son and say, hey, Dad, I need, school. I'm already late for put him in middle school. Children's Protective is up my behind. He's in a wheelchair. I go take a look at that one house over there. Okay, he had 6 or 7 rentals. One lady was in there for 2 years selling crack out of one. My dad was 100. My mom was 100. And that side of the family weren't looking out for him. And the other side of the family, our side, they weren't looking out for him either. So anyhow, the place come down. It was all cleaned up, basically. And some people with the little decals, I guess some young people or whatever that soccer this and soccer that. I took all that shit. I said, well, I'm born and raised over here. I want to see the Dallas Cowboys, if anything. Maybe the Chicago Bears or the Baltimore Colts. You with me? You feel me? Uh, I'm going to be 77. Ted Nugent was just talking. I picked him up one night in the cab. I guess Donald Trump or Don Jr. goes over to his place in Michigan. I was up in Michigan about 14 years ago. I had a load up there. And I unloaded, went to the. It was in the middle on the west side. Went to a truck stop and as the does Ted Nugent live around here? I don't know where I'm at. You know. Oh yeah, he's about 14 miles away. Oh cool. I should have looked him up. I really should. Well, you don't want to start bouncing around in the truck like it's a Kia, you know. So I see him. He came down to San Angelo a couple of weeks ago, which is about uh, it's off the 10, I think. Yeah, it's about 200, 220 miles from El Paso, east. Rock and roll. Those are the country boys. You know, I'm in El Paso, a bunch of guys up there, big man. You know. Anyhow, so he goes. With all due respect, Taylor Swift, the music it got no fire, it got no piss and vinegar, it got no soul or whatever. I said, no shit. I like that one. My son had died. I was so down. She come out with that "Shake It Off" thing, which a bunch of young people, you know, they're spinning around, doing somersaults off each other's back. Had a great horn section, a lot of good things. I like music, creative. It's cute. She says, in other words, she's like admitting she's a dumbass or something, or but she's got being, I guess, a rich girl and her dad pushing her parents pushing her dog shit out of her. She was young, Nashville, whatever. You know, she just went on a year long tour now to a billionaire, the richest woman in the world, and I guess she's a 30-ish kind of Kelsey the dream. He was a good football player at Kansas City, so I wish them luck, but she got a bad record of. Well, that's what she was talking about. I can't make them stay. It takes a real woman uh, and God's blessings to be a wife. You know, a lot of Miley Cyrus just come out with the was it's really I guess got really you really don't want kids. You know, well you've been subjected, and I know because I was in San Diego, LA since I was 2 years old, finding out what that satanic influence Hollywood actors, TV, money, that lifestyle, music, homosexuality. So, what do you expect? You know, I read the Bible. It says, this guy asked this other guy for his daughters. He wanted a wife. Well, God gave him this guy's daughter as a wife or whatever. If your brother's wife dies, you know, you're almost obligated to make her your wife, something like that. There's a theme about the family. I'm looking back with my 47 years, by the grace of God, clean and sober, peeling the layers of the onions to get that. How did I move back to El Paso? I hate fucking El Paso. But I said, man, let me find out what caused my, going that route. I get, I don't know, the temptation that Satan put in front of me or whatever. No love from the family. There's a ton of stuff on YouTube. Psychological, upbringing, environment, blah, blah, blah. And just trying to figure it out, just accept it. And then put labels on the problems. And then start working to fix your problems. The best you can. You do the best you can with what you got. I got my shirt off because it's like 90 degrees in here. I got the AC going. A poor boy. I don't have one of them $8,000 refrigeration units. And I'm looking on YouTube where they got to roll up a coil of around a coffee can or something, that half-inch copper, and then I guess like an eighth of an inch copper wire, and then epoxy or glue or solder it or weld it closed, and then the other line, the other end of the line goes into like a quarter-inch copper wound around uh, like a salt shaker or Coke can or something. We make it a little smaller, the windings, wind it around, and yeah, about 10, wrap it around about 10 times. It'll put your gloves on or something. I don't know. So then that goes in. Get some clear plastic tubing. I think there's a kit they sell with. They put some. This one guy yesterday used R134, so I got about 6 or 8 cans for the truck. You know, got a little syringe needle that an adapter that fits on there, or got the hose, the discharge hose, like the blue one, and then wrap this thing in at the end of it. I think there's a little adapter kit or something. You just stick that in the clear plastic to put a little bit, or there's some other stuff that's you just put a little, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters. I think 10 centimeters max, and then that's the fluid that goes in there. Like that's what the nobody told the data centers to liquid cool. You don't have to cool it with water. There's other stuff available. Duh, So anyhow, uh, hang on a second. I got spaghetti cooking. I can smell. I think it's going to boil over. I'll be right back. All right. Yeah, about another 5 minutes. I cook it good. I don't know if you call that al dente. I'm not Italian, so I don't know. Anyhow, so it's a different generation. My dad used to tell me that when I was a kid. He was 50 something, about 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Yeah, I'm on my way out. He says, you never know. And he says, your generation is going to take over. Um, you know, I'm basically rock and roll, Stones, the Beatles, high school, 60s. I'm straight. I'm looking at all the BS of like this Pride Month. Man, what a bunch of shit that is. It shows you how much control. I'm like, where's that? They keep bypassing Soros. They mention him. I hear Soros about once a month. I look at it, all kinds of YouTube, whatever. The politicians, they go so slow and thorough, but there's so many problems. That's what the elites or the ones in the background take advantage of. With the Epstein's a distraction, the war is a distraction. Okay, so you get the picture. That's why uh, I don't blame Trump, and I see so many of these haters, I guess, that just Trump this and Trump that. He's a pedophile. I would have to see a picture of him, which would mean you would be in possession of child porn. But I see his daughter on his lap, his fucking grandpa. What the fuck? I got a jerk off today. Is I see one of his comments to Kai. I was going to say something. She's eating a banana or something. One guy puts a monkey with a banana, and he says, "Be careful if you sit on Grandpa's lap." Wait up, man! I smacked the shit out you. Why the fuck you? Common sense. What? Why do you even say something? I mean, I'm guilty a lot of times. I say something out my mouth that ain't right, but uh, I felt like putting in a. Why don't you think of something a little nicer to say? You're not funny. Robert De Niro, you're talking to me. Fuck Trump. Hey, fuck you. You know what? I was on the streets where you were on 14th Street, but you knew people. You was from the hood. Well, I didn't know you was 4'9". I don't fight little guys. Hey, dumb shit. And then the boomers all get beat up because they. Well, you got a house. Yeah, now I waited 50 fucking years for this piece of shit house. I wake up, there's this four cockroaches. That, I guess the heat kills them. It's 90 in here. I hate cockroaches. You grew up with them motherfuckers, and there's a little fucking like a worm or something in the bathtub. There's little water sticks in the. It's a 100-year-old bathtub. I was going to put some epoxy on it. Whatever. It gets. Got to rebuild the whole thing. You better be a millionaire when you get one of these old houses, man. I'm just piecing it together. Order something on Walmart to try to save a couple of bucks. You got to wait 3, 4, 5, 20 days. So, oh yeah, okay. Let me set it over here. I forget where I put it, man. Not fucking. So yes, I'm not young or come from a filthy rich family. That I see some red. Hey, I pat you on the back for being full of energy to women too. Over there building a little. I did little 10x10s in Palmdale, California, and Pecos, Texas. That's all I got. I graduated to this old house. YouTube, this old house, Bob Vila. I was looking at that shit back in the 70s, and I see one of his partners, and old timers have been at it, 20, 30, no, it's like 30, 40, 50 years. They know every little detail. So I'm learning, I'm MIG welding, and there's, oh, well, you could do this, and then there's this, and then get that. And if you got a problem, get square, you need a T, and you need this and that, clean, prep, heat the shit up, blah, blah, blah. It's like, holy fuck, I just want to, when they're tearing down these old American cars, the same thing. They're not just tack welded. Well, some of them are, but, it's the ideology while we're talking about this Muslim shit. Texas guy, he looks like he's a little go either way. White hair, suit and tie, they got 50 mosques in Dallas, Texas already. Yeah, stop that shit now. They want to overtake our civilization. A 100-year plan to infiltrate. They're going to outnumber you. You see what's going on in Europe. London is now 1/3 white. Well, guess what? If they just start beating up or they got a little baseball club or a stick, they're outnumbered already. Duh. It's the whole ideology. Why do these people hate so much that they have to kill the infidel? Kill is the number one thing in the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not kill. Don't you get it? I guess not. That's what scares the fuck out of me. But I'm on the way out. I'd probably get in trouble real quick if I was younger. Like I put, see this Irish guy, I think, or English guy, I think, or English. He got a little beard, about 35ish, but he got a wife and kids for the future. But they're protesting. I made a comment on Facebook. Take your country back, brother. Well, you went against guidelines. You're restricted. It's I'm review the thing. I'm looking at the rules. My fucking 16 paragraphs of. I'm 77. I don't give a fuck. Don't tell me how to talk. I mean, I'm not 5 years old in first grade or kindergarten. Uh, terror. I get that little control. The control freaks. Where do you start? You can't bring back the 50s. In El Paso last week or two. Came back to my hometown. I'm looking at the city. All of a sudden, they signed off on it 2023. That Meta AI Center, whatever. One by Fort Bliss, one by Santa Teresa, which is just west of El Paso. It's they got a housing tract out there. It borders El Paso and then New Mexico. It's just on into the New Mexico line, Santa Teresa, and they got a couple of warehouse distributed. Go get a load over there. It's an old aircraft museum from the 50s or something like that. And they got them windmill giant blades over there. There's a place where they store them or make them or some shit. This brand new thing, freeway with a sign to Mexico. It's a border crossing. I want to say primarily commercial trucks, which is smart. So I say make a loop like Montgomery, Alabama. You got the main highway, and there's a loop that goes into the city if you want to go local, but the truck after truck is just passing it by. Well, don't make them go through the city. You're fucking everybody up. I says that to one guy, El Paso, he types back. He says, "Oh, something, says stupid shit." I says, "I'm just trying to get the truck traffic to go around El Paso." Duh. People just don't understand. I don't know how to. I'm not stupid. I got 3.5 years of college, and I don't know how else to say it. I'm not looking for a fight. I'm just a little intelligent conversation. There must be a way to solve this problem. El Paso got a problem. Anyhow, so what the city council passed this thing at midnight when there's nobody around, I guess got paid off, started working on the thing. Now they say almost every day now with the news and all that, they're going to tap into the water source and the electric grid. Now they say they're not going to. So right away you're confused, but hold it. Well, this and that and the other. Okay, it's also 24/7 the noise level. So the citizens are complaining. We don't want that. I don't want you going into this water. It's precious. Bring your own supply or use antifreeze to cool your computer things, whatever. You should have, as a responsible, college-educated motherfucking family man, should have presented this to the people, your representative. But you're just grabbing at the money. You go out, you buy the wife a new car. She's happy. You get laid. Your daughter's spending all your fucking money. You got a suit on. You don't do shit. You got your 4 years of college to get you into that position. I have the same problem with my nephew. He's a lawyer over here. I try to talk to him. It's tuned you out, la 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 la. Yeah, you got yours. You got a nice house, a nice car. You raised your kid. I see where you're coming from, but you missed, to me, a very important point. You're disrespecting the people. You disrespected me and my disabled son and my mom and dad. by fucking around this probate thing for 20 fucking years. I'm a lawyer. I don't give a fuck if you're a lawyer. I just Google my questions and get answers, understand, go talk to the county clerks. They'll direct you to the right place, and you go in front of the judge. Don't really even need you, you know. But I just, with my son, he died now, but I'm 70. Said, man, I got no fucking energy. My car ain't running. I can't breathe. I smoke. I can't breathe, and that's another thing. These people don't drink. They don't smoke. They got no tattoos. You know, you just ain't the same. So what I'm doing is putting this shit out for whatever, just to satisfy myself. Uh, should present all the facts like a business, like anything. Here, we want Meta has contacted. They want to build a thing. There's going to be so much money. Let's have the money too. This and that will be 1,200 construction workers for 2 or 3 years, something like that, because it'll bring jobs. Are you that fucking desperate? I can't get a job in El Paso. I'm 3 shades of skin too white. They're fucking very prejudiced. Catholic Mexicans all from Chihuahua. Well, I take offense to that. My dad was from Guanajuato, the interior, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just trying to present intellectually, intelligently, just common sense type shit. That I caught you. You're caught. The people, one comment, they thought we were asleep. Well, you were. I got news for you. I was out driving a truck cross country. I wasn't even here. And now that I started punching up El Paso likes or whatever on the news, now I get one after the next. The logarithm is, well, I don't want to see this shit 24 hours a day. So anyhow, they put the cart before the horse. That's an AA saying too. Well, they've already the last 2 or 3 weeks, they've already started working on it. Now, if we cancel the contract, hold it. You just said if you cancel it, so that means you could. Because now they're saying we can't cancel it, irrevocable or something. No, I says there ain't nothing in this world that what you do you can't undo. Fix the problem one way or the other. However it's done, I'm not a lawyer, but I know that if you get some citizens right away, they're trying to recall this one lady that voted for it again. Why would they do that again? I thought it was already in place. So there's some shit I don't understand. It don't make no fucking sense to me. But recalling that bitch, that lady, the damage is already done, and it says the first signing was before she got in the last 4, 5, 6 years. At 23, well, 3 years. She probably came in 2 years ago or something like that. They don't give you all the details. So anyhow, I says, first of all, I would. Now this is going to cost money, a lot of money. So I would get a good lawyer, not necessarily from the state of Texas. It's got a law degree or what do you call it? Where they can practice law in the state of Texas. Okay. So the first thing I'd go to the local judge and say, we want to protest this, hold that construction, stop it, whatever. Or they say, well, no, we can't, or no, it's that's not going to happen. Okay. Well, we want to protest this. Okay. No. It was done without the citizens' knowledge, which is number one. That's a no-no. You already got it started. Well, hold it. That doesn't mean, but it's going to cost. I'm thinking, if these people in El Paso go get a couple of GoFundMe accounts, like where they raised Camilla running for president, she raised like $24 million overnight. Well, yeah, let's go to the now the judge, the local judge, asked them if you don't know how to make this thing stop, then, or if it's an issue, would you end up, which needs to go to the Supreme Court of Texas and let them decide. Or you could take it, I guess, I don't know how to do that, but to the Supreme Court of the United States of America, the DOJ, Department of Justice, all that, and they'll decide what the merits of the case, blah, 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 blah. But I notice the locals, what I'm saying is it's all 3-word comments or 4-word comments. Well, you need to delve a little bit deeper into that. So the lawyer's fees would cost, they're not bashful about charging. But there's a way, that GoFundMe shit. If you start fucking with the local water, and right now, you got water, they're cutting back. Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, it's becoming an issue. California, they didn't have enough water for the fires and all that shit. It's an issue. So they were drilling a new well by Las Cruces, I think, the Mesilla Bolson aquifer. It's been 50 years. Yeah, fucking drill a new well before it starts leaking or whatever, contaminated with smart idea, El Paso water. Okay. Now, I think they said they go down 250 feet, something like that, or around 300 feet deep. As I looked in the Google, I thought it said 3,000 to 5,000 feet in El Paso. Maybe I was tired. Maybe it's 300 to 500 feet. So anyhow, I want to know too. And how deep is it? You hit the water at 300, but it goes up and down the level of the aquifer. So you get water at 300 feet, and then is that aquifer like 500 feet deep, 1,000 feet deep? Because you got to sit and figure, if it's 200 feet deep, that ain't worth the shit. And they're talking about 1 million gallons a day at the Meta Center. Some of these videos, like, whoa, let's get straight on this shit first. Because they hit you bada bing, bada bang, handed you an envelope or put some money in your bank account, and you went, okay, just sign here. Oh, okay, thanks. Oh, appreciate it. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, like the mafia, it's government, corporate greed, and they're not the sharpest. See some old timers there that they looked at, some Karens and all that they've looked at. There's a lady by the Hill Country, Kerrville and all that, Kerr County. She made a little plastic thing with dirt on it. She said, let me show you how the water wells go down. There's a river that seeps into the ground, an open aquifer. It seeps all the way into the aquifer, goes like that. And there's another one, a lake, that sits down into an aquifer. The water seeps down, but it's a contained pool of water. It's the two. And then the local wells go down 150, 200, 250 feet. But the commercial, when you're talking money, these guys, for the oil and the fracking, they go down 3,000, 5,000 feet, up to 4 miles going sideways to get the oil and all that shit. And they bypass too. If you come under my property and get the oil that's over my property, I should get a cut on that. They say, oh no, they have exclusive rights, or there's no laws prohibiting that. So the oil companies, they're greedy like fucks too. Or they're going to take all they can, and if the earth collapses or there's cracks, it says that fracking, they put pressure on it cracks and get the oil out of that. But when you crack the soil, you also have a water aquifer above that gets contaminated that may seep into the good water. I'm just saying, anyhow, she's got a model of that and explains everything like my first grade teacher. Now I understand. I already dug a well in Pecos, 150 feet. It starts getting, guy was charging $10 a foot. That's not bad, but it starts getting complicated. You need to know what you're doing. You want to be a ranch owner or whatever, farmer. A couple of permits with the city or the county. They're glad to get $50 for the year or something, or $100 or whatever. That's the income for blah blah blah. But it's more to it than that. People got no integrity anymore. It's just like make that money, fuck it. I understand it. I've been in that position many, many times, and they got you over the barrel. But this here, if there's public support, it should be able to counteract that. This deal is shoved down our throat. I don't know if they're going to get death threats or hate mail or whatever. Just getting rid of that person is not the problem. The problem is bigger. You see the corruption that Trump has started to expose, that transparency. Now they're going after California. I'm looking at Gavin Newsom, a lying motherfucker, said the Biden era Department of Justice said his wife was investigating for fraud. Now he comes out, that's twice in 2 days. It's Trump coming after me because I want to run for president. Oh man, you're a dumb fuck. I lived in California, man. I think he's a faggot, but he's got a wife, but it's not like Michelle Obama. She's a real woman, I guess. Anyhow, so now him and Hunter Biden want to run for president and vice president. I was just watching Hunter Biden. No, that's a real winning combo. The state of the United States, the Democratic Party, a Democrat all my friggin' life. And my dad told me don't even bother voting because see what corrupt. Now, Trump was a Democrat. He said, yeah, they were all nice to me while I was a Democrat. I went over to this side. Now they all, and Hillary wants to run a mother. Jesus, Kamala with this IQ. They don't have a plan, a solution. You just bash Trump over the head. That's so old. But that's what you got. Dress up as a clown and be a gay. And that's your right. Yeah, you got that right to a point. And then when you start trying to shove it down our throat like this gay month, this Pride month, who the fuck voted for that shit? It's Sharia law. If you don't comply with it, who the fuck are you? Number one, you haven't complied with our laws getting in here to start with. And then if you did it legally, whatever that means, and now you want to take over? I don't think so. But they sure are shooting. They're so friggin' competent. And I say if they overpower us, overpopulate us, well, the white people ain't having kids. Like, just wait them out another 20, 30 years. We'll outnumber them. And they've thought this through. That's why I was saying 10, 15 years ago, wake up, America. And then it's not that Epstein thing is, they got Rosie O'Donnell. She came back. She's talking about Ellen DeGeneres and that. She looks like shit. I guess she hadn't been eating babies or something. I don't know. You don't know if it's true or not. They released 3 million Department of Justice or CIA files, or Department of Justice, whatever it was. And I like the JFK. I went straight to the JFK first. And I said, we already got it figured out pretty much. But it's corrupt as fuck, going back to Dulles, 1960s and the 50s. And Trump had a lawyer, Cohen, that represented the mob and everything else, Jewish guy. That was his lawyer when he first started back in the 70s or whatever. I don't know, man. There ain't no end, Look at that, Ghislaine Maxwell. She's in her little uniform, a great pair of legs, and she looks. That also shows you when they look nice, or Ellen, be kind and project this image. I liked her when she first started. Thought she was kind of cute. And I said, oh man, she would scream at her staff and this, and she's playing with Diddy's little finger. Well, the real party starts when you get there. He says, yeah, at midnight, that's a different party. And she's going along with it, playing it, sending him some emails, this and that and the other. You don't know. It comes out that I don't know if he's a CIA asset that started this shit. The CIA started Maxine Waters. I'm watching. She gave a hell of a speech over here with they sent Guatemala uh, they were sending them artillery, the U.S. government, and then they were sending crack cocaine to Compton in South L.A. And I guess Watts, that's right, the black area. They wanted to see it around 80, early 80, 84, 85, around there. That's when I first got back to California. And then with the rappers, they made millions off that Bad Boy Records and all that shit. And Snoop Dogg and all that shit. And I think the overall picture of the government was to, I think, one, to fuck up the black people, and two, see how they react under this. They're still experimenting with humans, how to know how to control people they don't like or poor people or whatever, and make money off it. You know, it's like that guy Victoria's Secret, Wexler, Epstein's friend that was a billionaire or whatever in Cincinnati, and gave him his mansion, gave him control of his finances. What the fuck is going? Turns out the government was bringing up cocaine and weapons from South America to Cincinnati or Dayton. Then they were flying to China. It's like I can't believe what I'm reading. You know, so I seen Wexler getting interviewed about 6 weeks ago in Congress. I was looking, old motherfucker, looks nice, you know, suit, knows how to talk, smooth. It's a word salad. It's a complete word game. I only associated with Epstein a couple of times. I didn't know what he was doing. How you going to disprove him? Even like Ellen or Bill Clinton was on Epstein's plane, I don't know, 20, 22, 28 times. Well, that don't prove nothing. They got videos. I don't know. They're either still hidden because they say he had cameras everywhere. Took videos of every friggin' thing to blackmail people. So Clinton, I know he'll give a speech in Europe for $5 million for 45 minutes. They got money now, you know. So you need to pay off a guy. Let me get the original copy of that video that shows me, you know, having sex with a 12-year-old or something. Well, give me $2 million. I'll give it to you. Okay, here. Okay, so, here. Have fun. I'd make a copy just in case I needed more money later. I'd hit Bill Clinton again. I forgot to tell you I made a duplicate. You know, the criminal mind. And desperation and liking money to live good, like Hillary says, with the deplorables, like us, the working people. Okay, I'll see you on Judgment Day. But you know that's how it goes. Now, if you keep a track, I see some people, quite a few, keeping a track of all the stuff that's going on, so that you know. But to coordinate it with the Justice Department, which I really have I've seen Bill Clinton and Hillary with got 50, 60 murders. I lost count. People disappeared. All of a sudden, it was going to blow the whistle on them. And blah, blah, blah. Hillary's got friends. Bill's got friends in the Department of Justice. Once in a while, the CIA. Okay, so you don't have a chance. You're going to end up dead. And that's the deal. And that's the hardcore reality. Fear. Is it worth it? Maybe I'm wrong, but they did their thing. We got how many kids in the world? You know, it sounds horrible. There's so many kids in the world that are basically throwaways. That's the sad parts. But going after, where do you start? Because I've seen Epstein, fuck Trump. Okay, What's the solution? We've labeled, we've identified the problem. What's the solution? I'm looking to Rothschilds, the King of England, with so much money. Surprised to see Andrew. Fergie took her daughters over to Epstein. I guess he banged both of them. Fergie loved him right after he got Epstein got nailed for trafficking or underage girls or some shit back in Florida. Fergie was right there a week after he got out. I did 18 months or something. Fergie's right there. Woo! What does that tell you? I don't know. What does that tell you? Then she brought her daughters over to the island. Maybe she's kinky. I have no idea. I don't know. No, I got no references. How do you behave like this? I don't know anybody that ever acted like this. You know, I was single. I'm looking to get laid. As you meet a girl, whatever, on the street or whatever, and where you from? Oh, I'm from L.A. here. I'm from the Valley or something. And what do you like to do? You want to dance? You know, you want to drink? And a couple of bucks. You know, that. You're dancing usually, guy. You got one girl from Ohio that three dances, and it's like closing time. You want to come to my place? You know, that was it. You know, there's no. Let me see your background history for the last 25 years. Epstein, Weinstein, the Hollywood producer, and now they were bringing in Hugh Hefner. How come he never went to? I don't know. I'm going back to 12, 13 years old with a Playboy magazine. Marilyn Monroe was the first. Now you got the Mafia, the Frank Sinatra, the Kennedy, Mengi. You know, like I say, there's no end to this shit. So the AA program tells me live and let live. We had discussions like that. You need to get something to eat, go take a shower, get some sleep because you got to go back to work in the morning. You know, that's the end of the conversation. You know, if you figure it out, let me know. Write it down. I think these judges and the American court system is so overwhelmed. I was in New York. I got locked up. And my buddy Eddie, he's a junkie. He told me, he says, you know, 3 felonies, whatever. He says, you know, this system, he was from Brooklyn, I think. He says, so fucking overcrowded here. They rented barges on the East River while these guys are waiting, I guess from upstate, waiting to go to court, 100 Center Street in the Supreme Court and all that. I was about a mile away from the courthouses, the old abandoned docks. They parked a couple of barges there for the. I went to court. I think I was drunk or I got in a fight in 1970. First and second time I got locked up. 6th precinct. Went to court. It was like it started, I think, or it never stopped. They said be there by 9 or 10 at night. Okay. So I went down there, you know, fucking packed. People sitting on the floor, they're up against the walls, they're waiting outside. Here comes Bruce, cut him loose, Bruce. I forget. They did a story on him that he was kind of just. There's so many. I don't blame the guy. He's a drunken disorderly. When'd you get locked up? Last night. Okay, dismissed. I mean, it took 10 seconds, one after the next. It's almost midnight. Did you know about that? Or it's just Miley Cyrus took her hotel on the Bowery, and that's all people want to look at. I was over there. Now look at the whole thing. That's why the gangsters and all that, the mob. I lived in the city. There was more shit going on just there, but went down to the county library, county court library. I'm looking through or the records. Look at is it on 17th Street, Max's, Kansas City. Yeah, they closed down about 4 years ago. I was wondering why. I love music. This is a rock and roll place. Well, they got sued by what? It tells you. Oh, didn't know that fucking. interesting, So that and a quarter, that and 35 cents will get you on the bus. Who cares? But what I'm trying to say is that there's so much BS that I couldn't. With the mob is still mafias and corruption is still there. I read the Bible started 2,000 years ago or before. It's the way people's sinful nature. So God looks out for us. Why you got to have the faith and just try to get right with God. So anyhow, I'm going to cut it a little bit short. Everybody, God bless. I'm taking a holiday. The stock market. I started with JB Hunt. That motherfucker, boom. Same thing. I got nervous. I buy it when it started going down. Well, it was still going up. I said it's going to go up some more. Right that second, it starts coming down and down and down. I said, motherfucker. I say stop. I'm tired. I'm not thinking. I said just stop. Try it again. Monday. This oil adjustment prices, SpaceX, just starting, and they're talking on YouTube. It's going to go through the roof. You wish you'd have bought it. Started 130. Looking at Trish Reagan, she says she tensed up a little bit. Her buddy's telling her you started at I think $132, something like that. It jumped up to 164 or something like that. The initial IPO, the initial whatever offering. So I'm looking at it 5 days later, the third or fourth day. They didn't have no options. Now they got options. And I'm looking at it. It went up to, I think, 192 was the high on Thursday. Then it dropped back down to, I think, like $5 or something. I want to say around 175. Okay, that's the first. They started Monday. So it did go from 135 to 175. So that's unbelievable. I'm looking at JB Hunt. They've been going up $5 every month. So I've been going. Oh yes, I was looking at this 6, 7, 8 months ago. It was $188. Now it's up to $280. Basically $100. I'm just painting with broad strokes. I'm just talking roughly, generally. I'm not a super machine that figures this out. I'm just trying to, So, just trying to have some fun here and play with a few bucks. I'm only human. I said, well, what if you won $1 million? What if you won? What if somebody gave you? What if you earned it? And maybe well, go back to school because you just got fucked again. I'm like, okay, God humbles me, and so that's where we stand today. Yeah, anyhow, God bless everybody getting ready for that 250th anniversary. I was at the New York City at 200th anniversary. It's been 50 years already. Mother of Jesus, man, seemed like yesterday. I'm old. God bless. Everybody take care.